Hello everyone, I'm Nimrod, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a train with the new Extended Bogeys Borked mod. So what Extended Bogeys Borked does is it adds not just you'll need steam and rails for it, and I'll post a image in the site link in the description. Sorry, I can't talk today, but it adds new bogie types with actual working pistons that besides the create drivers. So that's actually a pretty cool addition in my opinion. Which I love steam and rails create drivers, but this just adds another thing. It's a little buggy, but hopefully it gets worked out in the end. So today we're going to be making a 242 style locomotive or a 240. I haven't quite decided yet, but first we're going to start off with our single axle bogies, and I'm going to start off with a medium single wheel, like so. Next, for our 240, we're going to place our drivers, which I'm going to choose double axle, and we're going to choose the short drivers, like so. So they will face backwards at first, but if I were to real quickly assemble the train here, so if I were to put controls and a seat on and glue it all together, like so, once it assembles, it should face the correct direction, like so. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to change the seat, and we're going to get rid of this super glue here, as well as these train casings. We're going to actually change our bogie style. We're going to go to double axles, and we're going to go to the long drivers, because I noticed the pistons were out of line. So we'll choose those, and we're just going to right click to make the bigger ones. Alright, now we'll connect our bogies together with some industrial iron. Okay. And we'll glue all that together. So that, I believe, I'm going to check. One of the tips I give for this for the Borked mod is to check which way your bogies are facing so the pistons line up correctly. So as you can see, I've got a little too far over. I want them behind the front bogie. So we're going to take that out. And I believe that if I were to place our train bogie right here, and we switch them to the large drivers, and assemble, yep, there we go. So that is how big it's going to need to be. So we'll take these out. And we're going to add 2 more blocks to the back there. Put that on. Okay. Now I typically like to make my trains with 1 extra block up, so that it allows for a nice raised cab, and we can get a boiler set to look pretty correct. So next I'm going to go to bells and whistles, and we're going to grab a pilot. So I'm going to grab a crimsite pilot. I'm going to put that on there and glue it on, as well as gluing these blocks all on. Again, this will look a little weird to start with, but when the train's assembled, as long as the train is facing a specific direction, such as south or north, whichever way your station's facing, that's the way the drivers will face. So, hopefully that gets fixed down the road. Alright. Next, I'm going to go to Steam and Rails pallets. I'm going to grab some boilers. So I'm going to grab some black riveted locomotive boilers, as well as a gray locomotive boiler, and I also have the brass wrapped locomotive boiler. So I'm going to alternate between the two here, add 2 more of the gray variety, and then I'm going to grab a wrench from Create, and this is one of my favorite aspects of the Steam and Rails boilers. You can right click and make a smoke box door. So next we're going to grab some copycats, copycat panels to be precise, and we're going to make running boards along the sides of the boiler. So I'm going to come here, shift click, and I'm going to go along the boiler as far as the first gray smoke box, or boiler. I can't talk today, I apologize. Next, we're going to take some industrial iron, and we're going to make the running boards with industrial iron. Okay. Next, we'll take the copycat panels again, and we're going to make a front part of our pilot. Footboard, I think they're called. I don't know for sure. We're going to go to create deco. We're going to get some catwalk stairs, and we're going to add catwalk stairs to the front so we have a way to get onto the running boards along the side of the boiler. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue all this together. Okay. Now we're just going to come over here. We're going to grab our seats and our train controls. Replace 2 seats and 2 sets of train controls on either side. Next, we're going to take a black locomotive boiler and we're going to make our firebox by breaking this block and shift clicking and placing the boiler down so that it does that. Let's go ahead and move these seats and controls back one so that in case you want to automate the train, the driver will actually be able to drive the train. Alright. Now I'm going to go for kind of a western style train, so I'm going to use stripped mangrove wood as well as some copycat panels. We're going to build up the cab, making it 2 blocks tall. And we'll use mangrove wood on the bottom. Alright, now we're going to go to Macaw's trapdoors. We're going to get mangrove glass trapdoors, and mangrove barred trapdoors. The first 2 windows are going to be the barred trapdoors, and then the last 2 are the windowed ones. Alright, next we're going to come up on the footboard, shift click, and we're going to place 2 of these down. And once again, we're using our window trapdoors and our mangrove wood. And there's that. Next, we need our steam whistle and our steam domes, which are going to be fluid tanks. So we're going to place 1 fluid tank on top of the firebox and 1 fluid tank just ahead of the firebox, or the first fluid tank. Taking a wrench, we're going to right click each one, and then we're going to place our steam whistle on the back one. Make it too tall. Then we'll place our bell on the front steam dome. Alright, next we're going to make our smokestack. Now I'm going to go with a wood burner style train, so we're going to go to steam and rails. We're going to get a wood burner smokestack. Now normally I make these bigger, but I kind of wanted to make this one a smaller smokestack. Go into Copycats Plus, we're going to grab a copycat beam. Place the beam, and then we're going to hit Alt to select the copper wood burner style smokestack, and we're going to shift click and place it on there. Alright, going to steam and rails pallets again, we're going to grab a gray locomotive smoke box, and we're going to adjust it so that it matches. And that's looking pretty good so far. We're going to go ahead and glue everything that we've added on together. You may get moments where this doesn't line up correctly, so just kind of roll with it. Eventually, when you've been building trains as long as I have, you'll figure it out. You also may notice that this doesn't have a line up. That was my alarm, apologies. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our firebox, which will be right here. So we're going to go ahead and break this. Place our firebox there as a gray locomotive smoke box. And I usually tend to change my design as I go. So if this doesn't make sense so far, that's okay. Just kind of follow along. Alright, to finish up our firebox, we're going to get some diagonal girders from Design and Decor. And on each side of this boiler, we're going to place diagonal girders. Like so. Going to create, we're going to get a hand crank to act as our throttle. And over here, we're going to need our water glass. So I'm going to go to create yet again, get a fluid pipe, get our wrench. Now, I like to make my water glasses by taking a fluid pipe, and we right click it to add a windowed effect, and that's our water glass. Alright. Going to bells and whistles, we're going to grab brass steps, build up on the back. Once again, make sure you glue everything together. Okay. Now, we're going to need to make our cab roof. And I like to use frame blocks for my cab roofs. So we're going to grab a frame slab, and we're going to grab frame slope slabs. And running along here, we're going to place our cab roof. Like this. Now, I usually like to make my cab roofs gray, but I'm going to go with the mangrove wood for this one. And that looks pretty good. Go ahead and glue this on. And there we go. Now let's make the front of the boiler. So I have to grab my super glue again because I just deleted that. We're going to go to Deco. We're going to grab ourselves a placard. I'm going to use a yellow one. Place it on the front. For our headlamp, we're going to go to we're going to get a lantern, a big lantern from Chipped, and place it right in front. We're going to get a mangrove trapdoor, as well as a solid mangrove trapdoor from Chipped, and we're going to place trapdoors along the sides of regular mangrove on the front. And then on top, we're going to go to frame blocks. We're going to frames pyramid slab, place it on top, and frame it with mangrove wood. And once again, make sure you glue everything. And that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and make sure the train assembles. And this is what it'll look like so far when it's finished. Now let's add some details. The first of many being some handrails. So along the side of the boiler, I'm going to place some shafts. And we're going to add brackets to the shafts. Make sure they face the right way. Let's go ahead and adjust these. And we're going to go ahead and move the steam domes around. Oop. So we're going to get a fluid tank. Replace 2 fluid tanks. Bell on top. That's a steam whistle. We're going to adjust the smokestack again. Raise it up one more. Let's use a regular locomotive smoke box. We're going to get an oil burner smokestack this time. Place it on top. Now this may not look perfect at the moment, but what we're going to do is go to frame blocks. We're going to grab frame slope slabs, or excuse me, frame slope panels. And on the sides of the oil burner smokestack, we are going to place the slope slabs facing up, like so. They can get a little tricky, but you'll eventually get it. Let's also change for a slope pyramid. And we're going to change our bottom part for a chute. Let's go ahead and add another chute on top. And we'll break these. The top of the lantern is fine. We're going to place our chutes, slope slabs facing up. And then we're also going to have some more facing this direction. A lot of building trains, like I do, is a lot of troubleshooting. So if you find that one design doesn't fit how you want it to look, just adjust it. Another issue I tend to find is trying to get these little corners lined up on the smokestacks. So typically I just place a block, place my corner, and then I'm good from there. So let's go ahead and place some blocks along the sides so that we can place the bottom corners for the smokestack. Once the bottom corners are in, we can break these and take the rest out. Now we're going to need to get a frame screwdriver, because we're going to take our gray locomotive smoke box. We need to adjust the position of the texture to look like this. So for each one, we're adjusting the texture. And we're using gray locomotive smoke boxes for this. So we want our texture to face upwards and downwards respectively. And we're going to repeat this process for all the shapes. And there we go. So that is our new smokestack. We're going to go ahead and place our actual smokestack on the inside. Glue all this together. So that everything is lined up. And we'll make sure all of our items are glued together. Let's go ahead and grab our wrench again. Fix this. Replace our bell. Now let's just go ahead and remove parts of the handrails. Sometimes I find that I break the boilers if I'm not careful, so you can just go ahead and fix those. And we'll add our handrails back without the shafts this time. Make sure everything's glued. And there is our locomotive. This is a cute locomotive design I like to use in case of a small railway. If you have a small place where you need a slightly smaller train to run. I'm going to go ahead and fix this boiler section here by adding a slope slab to the front. Just to make it look a little bigger. And that is our locomotive. So if we go ahead and climb up in the cab, we can now drive our train. And you'll see that I did leave a couple things behind. But the drivers actually turn with this, and I love the animation for that. That is really cool. So let's go ahead and fix what we missed. And I think I got everything this time. And that is our little locomotive, our 240 locomotive. So I'm pretty happy with this. So stay tuned. I'm going to be adding more cars and other such to it. Alright, and we're back. And what I forgot to do in the previous section was add a back to the cab. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And this is kind of a door section. So I'm going to go ahead and get some mangrove wood. And a mangrove trapdoor. Regular type. To add little windows on the back. And we'll make sure all of these are glued. And there we go. Alright. So, our next step, obviously, for a steam locomotive like this, it's going to need a tender. So I need to measure out how far back we want this. So 1, 2, I think 2 blocks back would probably be the best. So we'll go ahead and disassemble. So we know that we want it right around here. So our first bogey is going to need to be roughly here. Where that block, underneath where that block is. So let's go ahead and clear our inventory. And I'm going to grab a train casing. Now, the style I'm selecting is a single axle, and we're going to go with coil spring. We're going to place 2 coil spring single axle bogies. And now we're going to get some industrial iron. We're going to go ahead and place our base for our tender. Apologies, my throat's a little drainy. So I'm going to be clearing it quite a bit in this tutorial. And this is the base for our tender. So now I'm going to grab some copycat panels. We're going to go along the sides here, build the walls for the tender. And for texture, we're going to go to Steamer Rails palettes, and to match the locomotive, we're going to grab brass wrapped loco metal, and we're going to texture the entire tender with this. Like so. We're going to grab some copycat steps and a brass block next. Along the top of the tender, we're going to add a edge like so. And we're also going to grab from Copycats Plus, we're going to grab some Copycat Bites so that we can add corners. And we're going to frame all of those with brass. Go ahead and remove all of this because it does seem a little too tall. So we'll just keep this simple design here. We're also going to lower it. Because we do need a smaller tender for this locomotive. And what we're instead going to do is grab copycat half panels. Now, we're going to need a block on the top and back side to give us a base for where we're going to need to place these. So copycat half panels only take up half a block. So we're just going to extend them along the sides and back of the tender. Like so. Get rid of these. And we're going to go ahead and grab from the pallets of Steam and Rails. We're going to grab yellow riveted loco metal. There we go. That looks much better. Alright. Next, we're going to run to Copycats Plus and grab some Copycat slabs. And what we're going to do is we're going to build up the floor of the tender with Copycat slabs. And frame it with industrial iron. Like so. And once again, make sure you're gluing everything. And as always with trains, never glue your two carriages together, or otherwise it's going to mess up. And then this engine burns wood, so we're going to grab some wood planks for the inside. Make sure to leave a spot for a barrel. And these wood planks are simply just to build up the base of the inside. We're going to grab a barrel and place it down for coal, because we tend to want to add coal to our trains so they run faster. We're going to grab a copycat trap door. And we're going to place it over our barrel. we're going to head to Steam and Rails and grab a red locomotive smoke box. Frame it like so to add for a tender hatch. We're also going to grab some copycat panels. Place them on top. And we're going to grab some red / loco metal. Place it like so. And now we're going to place the wood load. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to go to frame blocks. And as you can see, we're going to grab some framed slab edges, framed slope edges, and we also want framed prisms of these varieties. So we're just going to place various different shapes here. We got this, that, one of these. And what this is going to do is it's going to add texture to the wood load. And for this wood load, we're going to need logs. We're going to grab oak and spruce logs. And we're going to theme them using our frame screwdriver as well to adjust the textures. As needed. So we want the edges of our logs facing on the outside. Let's go ahead and change this to a spruce log. And we'll go ahead and change most of our planks into logs. And that is our wood load. So let's go ahead and we'll glue the entire tender together. And that is our little 240 locomotive. So let's go ahead and we'll run it a little bit. So I'm just going to extend our track just forward and backward a bit. And this kind of locomotive would look great hauling a small passenger train or a little freight train in your world. It is a mixed use engine, and of course it can be automated. But look at that animation, I love that. Looks so nice. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I've been Nimrod, and as always, I will see you next time. Bye bye.